Astrology in the News, and today is May 14th, 2018. My God, it is getting very difficult to come up with stories that aren't government or politics or Trump related, but I'm going to keep trying, even though that's going to be dominating the news for like the next 6 months, probably the next few years, because we're living in one of those pivotal times. So, really, this is going to be the kickoff, and stay tuned because things are going to get a lot more exciting as we go along. All right, yogic wisdom of the day is something I like to do. Travel light, save light, spread the light, be the light. Bud Light. Have you ever had Bud Light, by the way? That is like the worst beer ever. It doesn't even qualify as beer. I mean, blah. Anyway, thank you, Trump, for not going to Jerusalem, and I will consider this halfway. How do I put it? A halfway correct prediction, but I basically warned a couple months back that I did not want Trump to go for the Jerusalem opening, and man, it has been really violent. So that was a smart move on his part. That would have been a big pile of kofefe. Now that's a big pile of kofefe. I mean, really, if he would have went, Donald Trump unfortunately has assassination in his chart, so he needs to be very careful. If you want to know timing of that stuff, it has everything to do with Algol, okay? Algol is a fixed star in the sky, and it's at roughly 3 degrees Taurus in the Vedic zodiac, and if you have a planet conjunct that star, it really can mean a lot of bad things, and really, it can have a lot to do with the assassinations too. So I am happy that this never happened. But taking a look at the chart for today, going back to that, I was really concerned actually about Mars here. Mars is actually in like an aspect here to Algol, and it's in a trine aspect, but what really worries me is its conjunction with the south node of the planet, and also too just the relationship in general. So generally speaking, trines are a good thing, but really when Algol's involved, especially with Mars, that really kind of made me concerned. So he'll be okay at least for now. I mean, Trump's really got to watch out for the next year because it's really not looking good in his chart. Not saying that something's guaranteed or anything like that, but President, Mr. President, if you're watching this, be very careful. But we know the Secret Service is good at doing their jobs. All right, did Zahari Ahmad Shah crash his plane? This was very interesting. So I saw a story on the news that a group of investigators out of Australia took a look at the flight and the footage and the path, and they think that he might have committed suicide in the plane. So I wanted to take a closer look at his chart. We all know what brought the plane down. It was a big magnet, right? You guys have seen Lost? It's a big magnet. All right. So this is his chart here, and we have a good birth time for him. Our birthday, don't have a birth time. So taking a look at the time of the accident here, he was in his Venus dasha. So we don't have an exact birth date though. So what we can do is maybe take a look and see if there's anything that's indicative of like some 8th house funny business. So what we'll do is we'll use the moon here. So the difficulty about this chart is the moon could either be in here in Pisces or it could be in Aquarius just as easily. And the reason why is it's on the cusp. So when you're doing a solar chart, which is doing something at around noon for that day, the thing that you have to be careful about is the position of the moon. So what that's going to do though is the moon could be on either side. So let's just say that looking at this, it's probably 50-50. So I'll tell you what, we'll use both. So let's take a look at the moon in Pisces, right? So Pisces here, Venus is in the 4th house. Let's see, Venus rules so we want to look for the 8th house. So here Venus rules let's see, this is the 9th in the 2nd house, and this is in the 4th house. So this isn't necessarily indicative of something that would happen. I'm sorry, I take that back. I'm sorry, I'm not, I need to actually do a better job, and I had to put the sign names here. This actually does rule his 3rd and his 8th house, so I take that back. Actually, this is the 8th house, so he was in the Venus dasha, so that could indicate possibly death. Okay, the 8th lord in Vedic astrology, when you're in a Mahadasha or like a Budki of the 8th lord, it does indicate death. So now if we move this back over here, so that's from Pisces. From Aquarius, this actually switches over to the 4th and let's see, 4. So here's how you count. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that would make this the 4th and 9th lord. So if I'm going to go on specifically with the Mahadasha system, And if he did commit suicide, this would actually be indicative of death. So he probably was born later on in the evening or something like that, right? So was this actually a suicide? So now we got some likelihood. So this happened in Venus Rahu Dasha. Let's see, Rahu is in the 6th house. And what is Rahu combined with here? Now, at the time that this went down, I don't think he was actually going through a Rahu transit. So let's take a look at some of these fixed stars here. Altair, no. Fard, so Pollux. All right, so this is an interesting one. Pollux can possibly be violent, although it doesn't necessarily indicate violence. So I'm going to take a look at this chart and I'm going to say that it's inconclusive to say that he committed suicide. There's not any sort of smoking gun. So if somebody knows his pilot's birth time, maybe we can get in kind of like a better idea. But taking a look at this really indicates something just where just death in general. So I'm going to rule this very unlikely. Okay. Moving on, famous birthday, Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, today is his birthday. Oh, Mr. Zuckerberg, I've been covering you so much on my channel. And of course, let's hope it's a private birthday because Big Brother is watching. Those are my investigation specs, or binoculars, I should say. So, taking a look at Zuckerberg's chart, Zuckerberg has a lot of retrograde energy going on in this chart. When somebody has retrograde energy, the planets don't function really how they normally would. Now, the interesting thing is, though, as somebody gets older, then they start to learn how to use that energy, and they become better at it. But in Zuckerberg's case, he has Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn retrograde. So really, really what's the highlight of his chart is this Mars and Saturn conjunct the moon, and this is going to be in his. Let's count again: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is in his 9th house. So this really has to do with like beliefs, stances, and things like that. How you value things, and he's very strict on his values. And usually too, this with Saturn and Moon conjunct here. This can actually show a kind of like an overbearing mother. Now the thing is, Saturn here is technically in the sign of exaltation. Now I've heard that a retrograde planet in the sign of debilitation makes it act like an exalted planet. Now a retrograde planet in a sign of exaltation doesn't necessarily make it, I'm still researching to see whether it actually makes it act like a debilitated planet. Now in Zuckerberg's case, I would say not, because really with a retrograde Saturn, that indicates laziness. And Zuckerberg is not a lazy person. He works and works and works to get his stuff done. So I'm not seeing that play out in his chart now. Right now, he is in his actually, I think he's in his Jupiter dasha, and Jupiter's fairly well placed here. The problem is he's got Saturn transiting in this house right now. This is the 11th house. This is save money, network circles, and all that fun stuff, and that's really not benefiting him. So this is going to be kind of a rough birthday for him. Once Saturn gets its way out of Sagittarius here, I think it'll be a little bit easier, and that's going to be happening next year. So he's got a ways to go. He's going to be under the microscope for a while, but really, I think he's going to start reorientating some of the stuff in his life too. To once he's like, especially like this retrograde Saturn, he's 34. After the age of 36, Saturn tends to alleviate his energy, its energies in Vedic astrology. So I think this is going to be a major learning lesson for him, and also too, Jupiter's transiting this 9th house too. So, and interesting enough too, Jupiter stationed on his natal Mars not too long after that scandal broke. So I would say normally Jupiter is a functional benefic, but here it's really in his 11th and 2nd house, which is kind of a wash. So not exactly the best. And looking at fixed star, he's actually got a lot of like eye crux here. A lot, no major fixed stars, but a lot of prominent ones in his chart. So, all right, that is all I had for today. I hope you liked what you saw. And of course, if you want to contact me, hit me at any of the contact information on the banner page. Emails nobsyoga@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to book a consultation with me, go to nobsyoga.com and click on book a consultation. You will like it. It's one-on-one with me. It's live, and it's also a very good price. So I hope you book, and I hope you like what you see. Otherwise, otherwise you can suck it. No. Otherwise, hopefully I will see you tomorrow.